Hi, I'm Halen Hirsch. I suffer from a disease called Acute Myeloid Leukemia. I am an 8th grader at South Junior High School, and Acute Myeloid Leukemia is a type of blood cancer that occurs in the bone marrow, which makes your blood go all weird and creates like way too many white blood cells that don't really do anything or benefit your body because they're a morphed type of white blood cell. I'd like to start by thanking my school, Principal Williams, and all the other staff and students who helped with this benefit. I'd like to give shout-outs to my friends for helping me along with the tough path I'm on. I'd like to thank the businesses and residents of St. Cloud for helping pitch in with this benefit and making it all possible. For all the donations and the money you gave for my benefit, I'd just really like to thank you for that. Next, I'd like to thank the people who planned this benefit. My Aunt Michelle, she's kind of the head honcho of the whole thing. She planned it all out and made it possible. My aunts Lori, Carrie, Sandy, you guys all helped too. Big thanks to you. And also all their friends. Shelly, Alana, Missy. Special thanks to Tita. She donated all the t-shirts and the tickets and all that good stuff. Next, I'd like to thank my family members. Mom, Steve, my brothers Lakin and Gatlin. You guys are all cool. You guys were all helping me through this and just keeping me a strong guy. Also, Dad and Loli, you guys are a big help too, so I'd like to thank you guys. I'd also like to thank my Grandma and Grandpa Hirsch because any and every time they could, they came here and visited. They came here every night and visited me, and that was just to help me get this whole big deal off my hands, and that really helped a lot. And my Grandma and Grandpa Sawyering also, they helped. My grandpa's they're both cancer survivors, so they know what it's like, and you know, they kind of just helped me along through it. And my Grandma Nana, which is Grandma Sawyering, she comes up here every week that my mom can't, and she stays with me. So that's pretty nice of her. And what was really cool is that my dad and my brothers actually decided to shave their heads in tribute to me. My dad lives in the town of Princeton, and there's a place called Mark Park, and actually a ton of my dad's friends, they're boys and girls and stuff. The boys all shaved their head, and then the girls who had really long hair cut off a lot of it, and they got it really short, probably about shoulder length. And then they donated all the stuff that they cut off to Locks of Love, so that was really cool of them. And it actually made me feel less alone because, you know, I'm the only chromosomal in the family until they did that, so. I'd like to thank all the people from Children's Hospital. All the doctors are great at explaining things. They don't scare you or anything about your disease. They're kind of here to just help you along through it. All the nurses have been so nice and so great. They've got a really great sense of humor, and it's just nice to be around. Makes me feel secure. And all the other staff, like I have a person that comes in here and does physical therapy with me to keep my body strong through this whole thing, because laying in bed all day you can get pretty weak. So she comes up here and we have a lot of fun. In fact, a couple of days ago, one of the Minnesota Vikings came here, Kevin Williams, and the physical therapist brought up scooters to the 8th floor, and I actually taught Kevin Williams how to scooter. I also have another lady by the name of Janine. She's a child life specialist. She just comes in and she does board games with me. She just keeps my mind occupied when I'm bored, so. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my life is like in the hospital. It's I will tell you, it's very simple to life outside of the hospital. I get up just like a normal person. I get in the shower, except for there's one thing. We have to tape this thing up. This is called a Hickman, and it has wires that are ports, and that's basically where they feed my chemo. So that can't get wet. We have to put, usually what we do is we put a plastic bag over it and tape it down. So you can't really aim the water at it. It's not that waterproof, but it keeps it dry. Then around 11 o'clock I have physical therapy, and it's either Lori or somebody else from that department comes up and she does stuff with me. We sometimes go down to the gym, which is relatively small, so we're not down there a whole lot. And then Janine, the child life specialist, will come in between then and 1 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock I have a tutor, which is basically like school in the hospital. As you can see over there, it's organizing all my school stuff, and being in the hospital with a cancer like this it's not a get out of school free card. You basically carry it with you to the hospital. She comes every day for an hour and 15 minutes for 4 days a week, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. She comes for an hour and 15 minutes. Wednesday is my free day. That's when I get to do whatever the heck I want. Then I'll probably eat lunch around in between 12 and 3 somewhere. And then from 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock, I have my time, which I can do whatever I want. Go for walks, go to the room and play Pac-Man, or go and play foosball, or do whatever. And then at 6 and 6:30 is usually when my grandma and grandpa Hirsch come in, and they visit for a while. They bring me all my stuff that I need because, as you probably have heard, hospital food is disgusting. And so they usually drop off food or whatever. They give me sparkling water, which actually is really good for helping me control me feeling pukey or whatever. After that, it's kind of just us settling down for the night, you know, getting ready for bed, and then we usually put in a movie about 9, and yeah, it's not that different from regular life. Ways to keep myself occupied in the hospital? Well, I pulled some really good practical jokes since I've been here. You know, there's been a couple of them. Like, one time my mom was, what you have to do to keep this thing clean, to keep these tubes clean, what you do is you put saline and heparin into both of them, and flush them is what it's called. And then after you flush them, they're clean, and you have to do that every day to keep them from, like, blocking up with blood clots or... So, my mom has to learn it because when I get sent home for the week break, she has to do that every single day. So, it was her very first time doing it, and she got through this one okay. I saw her both do the saline and heparin, and then she was about halfway through the saline when I pretended I had a seizure. It was actually funny, because she was here, and she got about here, and then I'm just like... She freaked. I'll tell you that. Then another one, we actually played on one of the nurses. John, he's one of the nurses. He's a really cool guy. He's a practical joker himself too. But it was around Halloween time, which was last month, and it was my first chemo session. I got through chemotherapy, but then I was doing the thing where you have to boot your counts back up, which is basically recovery. So what we did is we had a basket of Halloween candy. We took a bunch of Snickers bars, took a bunch of those mini Snickers bars about that big, opened them all up, mashed them all together, and threw it in the toilet. And then we opened up like 3 packets of Whoppers and dumped them in there. And then we called him in and said, we left some presents for you. And then he looked in there and he was like, are those Whoppers? And I'm like, yeah. We just had a big old laugh about that. Let's see, other practical jokes I've pulled here. Well, I do like just slapstick comedy practical jokes, which is basically hiding behind a corner, and when people pass by, scare the living daylights out of them. When in doubt, that's the way to go. I actually did that to one of the nurses. It was like the night shift or something, and I went out to go get something, and I saw her coming down the hallway, so I just flew behind the corner there, and I just jumped out. It was memorable. It was funny to watch. And, oh yeah, me and Grandma switched beds on the nurses. She, like, put on one of my hats and jumped in here, and I just crawled in there, kind of covered myself up with the blankets. And she rang the call light, and the nurse came in. He was like, "Do you need something?" And then Grandma just woke up and started laughing, you know, and then they all just started laughing. It was other ways to keep myself occupied. Well, there's my Xbox 360. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately. Call of Duty. Yeah, that's a good way to go. I actually got the new Call of Duty Black Ops. I got the Red Dead Redemption. And then like my last round of chemo, somebody sent me Halo Reach. And I played that a little bit. So other things I do in the hospital to entertain myself, I like to do card tricks and sleight of hand magic. So I fool a lot of people with that. That's fun to do. That's my wide swing of things I do to entertain myself. As you can see, I have lost all my hair now. Some of the people that have come to visit me in the past saw me and I still had a little bit of fuzz left, but now it's like completely smooth, so. And that's basically it for my time in the hospital. Once again, I'd like to thank all the people who came, donated money and items to the auction, and items to the raffle, and you guys are cool. You made it all possible, and I'm really grateful that you do this, because you know we're raising a lot of money and we're getting a lot of donations, and for my benefit. So as in return, I can't repay you for all of this, but I'd just like to say thank you for all the great things that you did, and I'd just like to thank once again all the people, my school especially, for letting us do the benefit there. It wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Thank you. That's a wrap.